Hey, Gearheads, welcome on into the very first live episode of the 2023 season. We're already off to a great start. I'm Alan Bailey. It is January 8th, 2023. Anaheim won, wrapping up everything yesterday in Anaheim. It is the 2023 season opener. And before we get into this weekend's action, make sure you smash that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest videos and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I know we're just kicking everything off, but the chat is open. You can see it. It's going to be above my head as soon as you guys fire it off tonight. We are talking Supercross. We are talking NASCAR. Chase Elliott lost a sponsor for 2023. What does that mean for the state of NASCAR? And should we be worried? Jordan Anderson expanding to 2 teams in 2023. We will talk about that. F1 news. We have Andretti and Cadillac teaming up for F1 in 2024, but what's the holdup? We're going to talk about this. Haas has a brand new name. Wayne Taylor and Andretti also pairing up for IMSA for 2023. We're going to talk about that and how that's going to affect everything. Plus, we're going to break down everything that happened out in Anaheim over the weekend, including the survival race is really the only way to describe it, because it truly was a race of survival. Eli's not done yet. He got it done in 450. In 250 West, McAdoo got the whole shot, but Jet Lawrence gets the victory. We're going to talk about that as well. The chat is open, y'all, so let me know what y'all want to talk about. We're also going to hear from the guys at the NBC booth that are going to break down all the action that we saw out on the track, so we will get to that in a little bit. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I want to hear what you guys have to say, honestly. This is your show. This is going to be kind of like a free-formed I just want to call it what it is. It's kind of inspired by Wind Tunnel. I literally grew up watching Wind Tunnel, and honestly, I love Dave Despain. He's an amazing reporter, and this is not me trying to mimic him or imitate him in any way, shape, or form, but we're taking the attitude of that show and we're more or less continuing it. We're trying something new here on the channel. We did this for 2022 in the post-race for the 2022 NASCAR finale, so we're going to just do this again. This is probably going to be an every Sunday night thing. If this is something you guys want to keep on doing, an hour, 2 hours, I don't know how long we're going to go. We're going to have to honestly wait and see. But I am very excited for this. I think it's going to honestly be a phenomenal season for us. I truly cannot wait to see what happens, honestly. I think it's going to be pretty darn cool, honestly. And, you know, we're going to just honestly see how things develop and how they grow, but I do want to get it out to the Supercross guys because they're going to break down everything that we saw out at Anaheim a heck of a lot better than I can. Little foreshadowing there, maybe. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Let me take you back to that screen real quick because we will show you the 450 Supercross unofficial results. These will be official probably tomorrow, honestly, if there are not already. Eli Tomac getting the victory out in Anaheim 1, kind of stamping his mark first on the season. You have Cooper Webb coming home second. You have Chase Sexton on the Honda right there. A lot of people are picking him for the favorite, and honestly, I'm not saying he's my favorite, but he's one of the guys I'm keeping an eye on. Dylan Fernandez finishing fourth right there. Roxon honestly surprised the hell out of a lot of people. He comes home fifth. You have Colton Nicholas sixth right there. Jason Anderson, who went down and said he was in practice and said he was fine. I don't know, man. I think Anderson is going to be the Cooper Webb of this season. He's going to be the guy that honestly is riding hurt, struggling, and not having a good time. That's just my gut feeling. I could be wrong. He could go out there and win Oakland next weekend, but I doubt it. Aaron Plessinger coming home 8th. You have Adamson Cirillo coming home 9th. Joey Savacci rounding out your top 10, and Bam Bam right there, who got the whole shot and then went down early on in this one, coming home 11th. So kind of a mixed bag in the chat. Jeffrey, Rams out. I know. My boss is a Rams season ticket holder over at the studio, and I honestly, I'm not worried about the Rams. I'm bummed, man. I'm an LA guy, and I know that The Rams, defending their Super Bowl title from last year would have been cool. Excuse me, the big game would have been really cool. But, we don't get that in 2023, I guess, which sucks. But, man, it sucks. There's no other way around it, man. I feel for him. I really do. But, we will move on. We will rebuild. Yes, that's what we will do. I'll take you out to the 250 highlight reel because I'm going to tell you, one of the scariest things I've seen in a hot minute we saw in 250 that made my heart skip a beat, and we still don't have an update.
Well, ear to ear. First of all.
Yeah, I go back. See, we're a live show. Told you. Here's your 250 West main results from Anaheim 1. Jet Lawrence getting the victory on that Honda, Team Red. The Husky, man, RJ Hampshire. Husky's looking pretty darn good, actually. I got to give it to Husky, man. Those Rockstar Husky guys are looking pretty good. We saw that with Stewart in 450 as well. He was running up there. He had a shot at finishing second until he went down, man. Feel bad for him. McAdoo coming home third right there. You got Oldenburg coming home fourth. You got Volan coming home fifth. And you got a bunch of Yamahas right there coming home in the top 10, and then a KTM and a Kawasaki rounding out your top 11 right there. Thank you to Monster Energy Supercross and AMA, not only for having us out in Anaheim, because I was out in Anaheim over the weekend and last night, but for giving us these highlights as well in order to talk about. So honestly, I thought that overall it was a fantastic race. I think that the 250 was nowhere near as gnarly as the 450. The 450 guys said in the post-race conference, something happened with the track. I don't know why. Between every right before the main event, I should say, they typically go out there and they work on the track, and they go out there with heavy equipment and they basically reset it and get it better. They didn't really do that with 450, and I noticed it, and I thought it was super weird. They really, really, really worked over the track before the 250, and they honestly made a really good track. Like, I was very impressed with what they did. And then, I don't know why, they were like, we're not going to go ahead and do that this time for 450. Maybe they wanted an interesting 450 race. Maybe they just didn't see stuff, but the guys in the post-race press conference were definitely complaining about it, and it was something that definitely stood out to me at the very least. And I'm not as in-depth as a Supercross insider as I am NASCAR, so it honestly blew me away that they didn't do that. Honestly, the track crew, I think, had their work cut out for them, because you look at this track, they put tarps on it. They built it and tarped it up, and it held, the moisture out of it pretty well. It had been raining out here in Southern California for 5-6 days straight, leading up to Friday press day and Saturday. And it didn't rain Friday a whole lot, and it didn't rain Saturday at all. It might rain out here tomorrow, but for now it's dry. But there's been a lot of moisture in the air, a lot of cloud cover, a lot of cold, cloudy conditions. So none of that moisture was able to evaporate because of the sun. None of it was burnt off because of the sun. And because of that, you had a very, very, very interesting situation where all of that moisture was literally just chilling on the track, was just hanging out and not going anywhere. And because of that, and because of poor drainage at Angel Stadium, that stadium is ancient and it hasn't been well maintained. I mean, you look at the big A, it's the pink A, because Artie Moreno is such a cheap bastard. He doesn't want to actually pay for a coat of paint on the thing that's seen by millions of people a day. So, I broke the story Friday afternoon. Angel Stadium was fumigating this week, and they kind of cut corners on that, and frankly, they endangered lives on Saturday by not letting that place air out properly. Some restaurants were closed. Some were opened prematurely with some bug bomb still in the food and in the building. So if you were at Anaheim 1 this weekend and you maybe woke up feeling a little bit sick this morning, you might want to go see your doctor, and you might have a legal case against Artie Moreno and the Angels at Angel Stadium. So honestly, Supercross has nothing to do with that. That's 100% on the Angels, so direct your lawsuits accordingly, gearheads. But honestly, the track itself had a lot of moisture underneath it. The bedrock had a lot of moisture underneath it. And frankly, there was moisture surrounding the entire track. All of the water from the stands and everything literally funneled down to the track, and it just kind of lingered around the edges of the track, and that had nowhere to go, and it just lingered. And essentially, it put the track on an island, which was not great. We're going to see that this weekend at Oakland when Supercross heads out to Oakland, and there's rain in the forecast for that one. And supposedly, reportedly, current weather forecasts say it's going to rain essentially from sunrise Saturday all day, all throughout the practice sessions, all throughout everything, and then supposedly, it's going to stop raining around the time the 250 and the 450 mains are supposed to get going. Whether or not that holds up, whether or not Mother Nature cooperates, I don't know. But if you're a fan of mud racing, you definitely need to check out Supercross next weekend. I like about the season, and Supercross is dealing with this too. Same problem NASCAR has. Supercross is going to be on either NBC or USA or one of the other affiliate networks. It's hard to tell which week is which. However, every single race, every single practice session, every single qualifying session for Supercross, Motocross, and Super Motocross, Super Motocross this season will be on Peacock streaming. And I love that because for $5 a month, I can watch literally every single practice session for Supercross. I'm begging you, NASCAR, do this. I'm sick of paying for other cable providers, hundreds of dollars a month just to not watch stuff consistently. Enough, NASCAR. Get your heads out of your nowheres. Let's get this fixed. I'm hoping that they get that done pretty quick. I want to take you guys out to the post-race press conference that happened out at Angel Stadium. We saw, frankly, these guys really, come together. You had Eli Tomac get the victory. You had Cooper Webb, your two-time champ, who is washed up. Those were his words coming into this race, coming home second. And you had Chase Sexton all in the media center, and they got a chance to talk, and I got a chance to talk to them as well. You will hear a little bit of that. So let's take you on out to the press conference.
Here we go. This is the 450 post-race press conference from Anaheim 1, 2023 kickoff. Guys, that was an incredible ride. The crowd got their money's worth. That was insane. Congratulations, Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, and Chase Sexton. Eli, I'll start with you. If we look in history, you've been very successful in Supercross, a lot of wins, now the championships, but Anaheim 1 has not been your friend. And today, from qualifying to the heat, to the main event, you were extremely impressive. Why? Is it new comfort this year, just a mentality shift to start the season? This was incredible. Why so hot at Anaheim 1?
I guess this experience, yeah. And I mean, this is my 10th Anaheim 1 in 450 class, so apparently it took me 10 times to figure it out how to get everything to go the right way for round one, from preseason to the race itself. So, but overall, that was just a wild race. Early battling with Justin there, and then making that or crashing up the tunnel jump. I just got a little bit in the back of my back seat of my bike, washed the front end up, and then thankfully everything stayed straight. Bars and my clutch was good, and was able to stay within touch of the front. So, and the track was I don't know, probably top 3 on just pure gnarliness. The way the transitions were, and you had to time the jumps literally perfect, or you'll see where you're launching off the track and make a mistake. So, but overall, such a good start for us especially on this new platform.
When you got up after the crash, was it, all right, let's get some points, let's be solid, or was it look up, see the leader, and go, no, I got this, I'm gonna go for it?
That was not my thought at first. I honestly thought that I threw it away, and I would be lucky to get podium. But the way the track was, it was so gnarly. I guess there was time to be lost and time to be made, for sure. So maybe that was a little bit in my favor.
Congratulations. Great ride. Jamie.
Jamie, Vital MX. Chase, when you made the mistake in the rhythm lane and allowed Eli to catch you and then get by you, it seemed like it took you a lap or two to get back in rhythm. Was there anything wrong with the bike? Anything going on in your head? Because it definitely didn't seem like you were riding the same until the end.
Yeah, no, it was, I don't know, the track, like Eli said, was just really gnarly. And when you make a mistake like that, what happened was I actually overjumped the quad into the corner, landed in a rut, and it shifted to third, and I didn't realize. Came out of the corner in third and just had no lift. And I tried to go for the next one and just kept casing the whole rhythm section basically and lost what felt like forever. And after that was really hard to get back into a flow until, honestly, the last lap when Cooper passed me. My last lap felt good, and I found some different lines, and it really was just being able to move around. I didn't move around enough to see what other lines were doing, and I kind of was just narrow-minded on what I was riding. So that's something I have to adjust to, and these guys are no slouch at that for sure. They know how to ride rough tracks, and that's something that I'm still learning. But overall, it was a solid day for me. I wish I would have rode a lot better the last 10 minutes of that main event, but we go back to work and work on it for next week.
Michael Antonovich with SWAT Moto Live. Eli, for you, you just said like the race super intense and everything, but that first 5 minutes was great racing from first to seventh. The crowd was super into it. How do you manage that? Do you hear that all going on? How do you not get overwhelmed and get into mistakes or anything?
I mean, you hear it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just like, can you focus? And that's just part of Supercross, though, and that's what makes it so cool. Is you hear the action, whether it's you yourself in a battle or you hear something else going on the track. It's just something you gotta deal with.
Michael Lindsay, Final Mix. This question is for Cooper Webb. Coop, you ended the first lap, I believe, in 10th. I think you were a little farther back that off the start. At that point, with all the heavy hitters in the field, everybody healthy coming to A1, did you believe you would get as far forward as you did? And if not, at what point into the race did you realize you probably made more ground than expected?
Yeah, like you said, the start was not good. Me and Mal kind of got into it, and then I wasn't too bad. I was right behind Chase, and I actually stalled it, and then that kind of put me back to like that he said back there. So I just put my head down. I mean, I saw up front it was a freight train, and fortunately no one was really getting away too much. So we were all pretty fast, especially at the beginning. We were all riding well and made a few passes. I mean, it's tough because A1, everyone's feisty and want to T-bone, and we're all excited. So it was just being smart, getting around guys, but moving forward, not wasting too much time, but not being stupid. And then, like you said, at the end, I actually just felt really good. The track was insanely rough and found some good lines, and just was me and Dylan were kind of coming through, and then got around him and got around Kenny, and just saw Chase and was able to make a pass there late. So I was stoked. I mean, I was really hoping, honestly, just to kind of get a top 5 or a podium probably about halfway, and then like Eli said, I just kind of started clicking away, and guys made mistakes and worked out.
For all of you, Richard Haight, Sports Life Magazine, do you guys feed off the enthusiasm of the crowd, or do you isolate it? I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's for me, it's been a while since I've heard it this crazy, and I think there was just so much action, from first to 10th, everyone was going wild. So it's good and it's bad. If you're out front, you're not sure what's happening, but it's definitely electric.
Second, for Eli, pretty auspicious start to the season. Does that give you other thoughts to write other things or going forward?
Ride other things?
Compete in other events.
No, I mean, not as of right now. I just have this Supercross series signed in my contract, so that's what I got going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna go ahead and kind of break in here because honestly, he's going to struggle to get that first victory, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm hoping that he's able to. Where'd my highlights go? I don't know where my highlights went. They disappeared. Fine. We'll go to these a bit and shift over into talking about NASCAR specifically. The big story that kind of shook the NASCAR world this week, the fact that A-Shoe Energy Drink will not return to sponsor Chase Elliott in 2023. They sponsored him in 22 at Richmond, and and Daytona for just 2 races, and they were an associate for the entire season. The entire NASCAR garage area, or excuse me, all of NASCAR Twitter freaked out over the weekend for whatever reason. For whatever reason, this was the end-all be-all. This was, oh my gosh, Chase Elliott, the prodigal son, he lost a sponsor. What do we do? It's fine. You know why? Nothing happened. Nothing. Because here's the thing. That contract it expired. It came to its end. And I can guarantee you, probably in the next couple of weeks before the LA Coliseum race in a month, I can guarantee you they're going to announce, Hendrick Motorsports and Chase Elliott, that they've signed another energy drink or another sponsor with another company. Do I know who that is? No, it could be any energy drink. I don't think it's Monster Energy. They're pretty heavily invested in other drivers right now, I should say, in the NASCAR garage area. They just came out, one of their one of their board members actually just came out saying, yeah, we're going to sponsor Ty Gibbs for some races in 2023. They're going to continue supporting Riley Herbst, obviously. They're going to support Haley Deegan in the Truck Series. I'm being told that they could potentially be sponsoring Tyler Rennick in the 45 for several races. We have to wait and see how that plays out. But, I mean, you could see literally any energy drink or drink company get in there. I don't know who it is. Chase Elliott literally has a different drink sponsor every 2 seasons because the price for Chase Elliott goes up, and I don't think ASHU has the funding to do it. When was the last time you saw an ASHU in a grocery store somewhere? I can't find them. They're hard to find, and I shouldn't have to go out there and look for your product. Not that I'm out there looking for your product very forcefully. The thing that I think would be hilarious is if Rowdy Energy sponsored Chase Elliott. I would die laughing if that were to happen because all the Chase Elliott fans would very much embrace Rowdy Nation instantaneously. And I think that would be great. I think it'd be hilarious, honestly. So bring it on. The other big news that broke over this last week was the fact that Jordan Anderson Racing will expand for the 2023 NASCAR Xfinity Series season, fielding 2 cars for Parker Renslaft and Jeb Burton, of all people. Yeah, Myatt Snyder drove for the team last year, scoring 1 top 5, 4 top 10s. He wasn't that great, 12th in points. Retzlaff actually made 9 starts last season, scoring 1 top 10, and he raced in the ARCA E-Series. He's an iRacer. He's a competitive iRacer. And honestly, for him to jump into the real thing, he's been pretty darn sporty in, frankly, bad equipment. Jordan Anderson Racing is still a young team, but they do have some fundage behind them, and they do have some good technical support alliances with RCR. So, honestly, Jordan Anderson Racing could be a powerhouse down the road. Do I think that these 2 drivers are necessarily going to do it? I don't know. Perhaps. Definitely not Jeb Burton. No offense, Jeb. You're not that good. I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just trying to be blunt. Jeb's, going to be 30 years old this year. He's a staple in the Xfinity Series. He ironically drove the 27 car last year, but he has that one fluke win, and he's got 13 top 5s in 109 Xfinity starts. State Water Heaters and also will sponsor Burton for a majority of the season. The season for them kicks off on February 18th down in Daytona. Honestly, Jeb is the guy who kind of limped up, into the Xfinity Series, and he's just kind of been there riding mid-pack, not really impressing, not really wrecking things, kind of middle of the road. I mean, somebody's got to fill that mid-pack, and he's a mid-pack guy. He's the guy who I think, much like Ward, will have flashes of brilliance. Maybe a Daytona 500. That'd be kind of cool if Jeb got, the 500. But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jeb Burton, I don't want to say he's past his prime, but I don't think he's been in good equipment. And maybe Anderson will finally give him good equipment, and maybe he can show us what he could do. But frankly, he's had plenty of opportunity to show us, and he hasn't. And I don't think he's necessarily ever going to be a championship contender. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he rattles off a win this season, but that's where I'm leaning at this time. The other two big F1 stories, the fact that Haas on Wednesday revealed a new tweaked logo on their website and social media channels, incorporating their brand new sponsor MoneyGram, along with the new official team name, MoneyGram, Haas F1 team. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I'm still going to call them Haas. I don't care if they're MoneyGram now. They are Haas to me. Haas F1, the end. But good for them. I can't wait to see what the livery looks like. I think it's going to be hopefully a cool one, but MoneyGram already had the red and white motif going, so I don't think it's going to be drastically different, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they bring in some really cool designers and give us a really, 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 really cool looking livery. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The other big news in F1 this week, the fact that Michael Andretti gained a major ally in his quest to join the F1 grid, with General Motors announcing Thursday morning that they also want to go racing in F1, with GM Racing's Cadillac brand joining Andretti Global to try to get into F1 in 2024. But F1 and the FIA already came out and said, Andretti needs approval. We have not approved him. I mean, once again, the FIA showing that it all comes down to money. It all comes down to how much money do you have and what are you willing to do? And Andretti has proven, I think, that he has the money, that he's willing to do it. And frankly, there are other teams in F1 right now that aren't really proving anything. Yes, they have the money, but honestly, maybe Andretti should buy into Haas and they should team up and make a super team. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. Maybe MoneyGram is going to give Haas the resources that they need so desperately, and they could be competitive this year. I don't know. I think that the F1 season, A, is quite a ways away, and B, definitely is going to be fascinating to watch to see how it develops with some of these team changes that we've seen. I hope it's a little bit more of an even grid. I hope that race for mid-pack is a little bit better, let's just say, but I don't think it necessarily will be. I think it's going to be, Ferrari going to Ferrari and Red Bull going to Red Bull, and I question if Lewis Hamilton will ever win a Grand Prix ever again at this point, and I cannot believe I'm saying that going into 2023, but that's where we are. The other piece of IMSA news from Andretti, of all people, is that Wayne Taylor Racing with Andretti Autosport will field the number 10 Acura in the GTP class, as well as the number 93 GT Daytona. Honestly, I'm blown away by this. I'm not blown away that Andretti teamed up with Wayne Taylor. Like, I kind of see that happening. I'm blown away by the fact that they're going to stick with Acura. Andretti kind of showing he doesn't have alliances to anybody, and he's kind of positioning himself as the new Roger Penske or Chip Ganassi, getting into multiple series and owning cars in multiple divisions of racing. And honestly, good for him. Keep that Andretti name alive. Keep it in motorsports. No, we don't really have an Andretti out there on the racetrack that's capable of winning. Sorry, Marco. But at least we're keeping the Andretti name in motorsports, which just feels right, not taking a shot or a swing here. It really does. It's so cool that they're still in racing. I really wish them all the best. Wayne Taylor knows what he's doing, so I definitely think that Andretti more or less buying into that organization can hopefully only strengthen them. I'm hoping. We'll have to see, but you look at Wayne Taylor, in IMSA's top series, he's earned a pair of season championships in 13 and in 17, 5 Rolex 24-hour wins. The team's number 10 Acura finished second in this last year's Daytona Prototype International Championship. So they're definitely right there on the edge of being able to do this. I only hope that they do it. I hope that it's consistent. I hope that it's there. By the way, guys, our chat is still open. It is above my head. I know it's been eerily quiet today for our season kickoff, but, we are, here to do a kind of a weekly motorsports show. That's what this is. I got Toothless chilling here. And by the way, thank you, Jet Lawrence, not just for winning the 250 race over the weekend in Anaheim, but for launching Jets and Donuts. Yes, these were on sale out at Anaheim over the weekend. He was kind enough to drop these by the press box. I meant to save this box. There was 4 donuts in here, and now I have a single donut. So I'm going to, for Jetson. His name is Jetson. By the way, awesome name. You name your kid Jetson, you're a good dude. But he's got the Homer Simpson looking donuts. So I'm going to legitimately do a Jetson's. Is it Jetson or Jetson? It's Jetson donuts, no S. Jetson donuts. And there it is right there as well. Focus, come on. Jetson donuts. Okay, so the smell test, it smells pretty good. These have been on my counter for a few hours overnight, almost 24 hours now. So they're not as crisp and fresh as they could be. But anytime a rider or a driver comes by and gives us food in any capacity, I'm going to do a little review. By the way, thank you Monster for the Ultra Strawberry Dreams Zero Sugar. I'm a big fan of the zero sugar ones. I'm watching my health, and the zero sugar. Yes. I'm always the Ultra Zero, whatever it's called one. So, honestly, this is the cakey dough, the one that's kind of squishy, spongy. It tastes like a donut. Like, it's not too sugary. It's not too doughy. It's pretty good. I'll show you the cross section right there. It's fine. I wouldn't say that it's groundbreaking stuff, but hey, when a writer puts out a product like this, and I gotta give him kudos to this package, man. This is a look at, there's a design on the bottom. I didn't know there was a design on the bottom. I mean, that's impressive right there, man. Jetson Donuts, they launched them over the weekend out at Angel Stadium. So if you're out at the stadium, keep an eye out for the Jetson Donuts booth. It's just a folding table. They're low tech, and I appreciate that. But it was a table with like 2 people working there, and they were freezing their butts off. And I gave them high fives, and I offered to get them some hot chocolate or something. And they were like, "No, we're good." But honestly, kudos to them because they were out there selling those donuts, and they sold them out, from what I understand, or got very close to it. So kudos to them for doing that, man. That was a very cool promotion with Jetson Donuts. And the fact that Lawrence won the 250 race was just icing on the cake. No pun intended. I know that the chat's been a little inactive tonight, but I do appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you, Ivan, for the subscription, by the way. We just got that alert right there. So thank you for coming on in. But no, this is something we're going to try to do every Sunday night at this time frame. But let me know in the comments below. Do you want it sooner, later than this? Let me know, because we're going to have fun with this. This is going to be about an hour, maybe less. We're not going to do commercial breaks at the moment. We might. I don't know. We'll see how things go, see how things develop. But this is going to be an ever-growing, ever-expanding thing. And I could give you a big speech like Dave Despain did on the first episode of Wind Tunnel, paraphrasing what he said. He said something to the effect of, this is not a NASCAR show. This is not an IndyCar show. This is not a IMSA. This is not an F1 show. This is not a Supercross, Motocross, Super Motocross World Championship show or dirt local lawnmower racing show. Instead, this is all of these shows, hopefully not one above the other. But the thing that I want to, and those words were spoken more or less by Dave Despain, my gosh, the better part of 20 years ago. That was in 2003, I want to say that show debuted, if I'm not mistaken. And here we are in 2023. I didn't think I'd be parodying the show like this, but here we are, years later, doing this thing that we're doing. But honestly, if you tuned in, even if it was for a few seconds today, thank you so much for tuning on in. I know we didn't have a whole lot of people coming out for this first show. As you could see from the chat above my head, that's a little dry, but that's okay, man. NASCAR, when it kicks off, we're going to try to take this show on the road. We're going to try to do it from the LA Coliseum post LA Clash. We're still working on NASCAR with that. We're going to try to do it for sure. We're going to try to do it at Pomona. For sure, we're going to try to for NHRA. We're going to try to do it out at Auto Club Speedway for the final race out at Auto Club Speedway. Personally, I did so many post-race shows from Auto Club Speedway. I got to try to get another one in selfishly. I'm like, give me another one, man. Give me another one. So we're probably going to do one there if NASCAR approves us, if Auto Club Speedway approves us. I'm going to miss that 2-mile track, man. I literally have been going to that track the whole time it's been there. Michael Turner, doesn't matter what time, I prefer live stream. And we're going to do the live stream. We're going to continue to do this live stream every Sunday night, talk motorsports. Michael Turner, since you're the one watching, I will ask you, what is on your mind tonight in the world of motorsports or sports in general or life in general? Let me know in the chat. And I don't know why it's not popping up above my head hole. I'm seeing it's not there. What in the world? Let me try to fix that real quick and hopefully not break the whole thing. Uh-oh. I think I broke the whole thing. I broke the whole thing. There it goes. Now it updated. Yay. It's bad at updating, apparently. We're going to get the bugs fixed, man. It's the first show of 2023. It wouldn't be us if we didn't do it a little wonky, let's just say. So it's all good. We're going to continue to grow in Mighty Racer 2007. Very cool. Thank you for the subscription. We got 3 subs tonight. That is really, really, really cool. Thank you guys for mashing that subscribe button. It means a lot. I can honestly say I saw a really good quote. I think it was on an Instagram reel. And I'm paraphrasing. If I get this wrong, I apologize. 2022 almost broke her. 2021 tested her. 2022 she started rebuilding, and in 2023 she's coming for you. And that hit me deep personally, because a lot of you know my wife went through a liver rejection in mid 2020, the middle of the pandemic. Right at this, a few months after the pandemic started, she was diagnosed with a failing liver. Had nothing to do with the pandemic, and it was tough, y'all. It really was tough. And out of the pandemic, I started coming here on YouTube with you guys. I've worked for ARN for the last 10 years. Had a blast going out to races for ARN, covering races, covering motorsports. But we came over here to YouTube right as the pandemic started, I should say. And I can honestly say you guys kept me sane. You guys kept me alive. I literally can never repay you for that. I can spend the rest of my days trying, and I will. Trust me. I will continue to try to put on a good show no matter what we do here on the channel. I will continue to try to do the best quality show for you that we can here on this channel. That's my goal. We created a second channel that we're going to try to, do more games on. I'm doing it with my wife, actually. We are doing it on youtube.com/Alan Battles, where right now we're doing Pokemon, but we're going to do other non-racing games. We might do some racing games on there. The point of that is I want to play video games with my wife, and we want to have fun, and we're going to do that. Michael Turner in the chat, Auto Club Speedway is running a 2-mile track again in 2023. I enjoyed racing a 2-mile Auto Club Speedway and NASCAR games. I hope your wife is feeling better. Michael, thank you so much for that, first off. And yeah, 2023, this season for NASCAR is the last year for the 2-mile track at Auto Club Speedway. It's converting to a 1/2-mile track after the race there in, I want to say it's February. Late February is when that race is out at Auto Club Speedway, autoclubspeedway.com for tickets. You can also head over to nascar.com/tickets if you want to go check those tickets out as well. But yeah, you can honestly, if you've never been to Auto Club Speedway, I highly, 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 highly encourage you to try to come out to Southern California in February for the Auto Club Speedway race, the NASCAR Cup Series race. Honestly, it's hands down one of the best racetracks I've seen in my life in person. Seriously. I'm not just saying that because I live close to the racetrack. I mean it. You look at what we saw in 2022 in NASCAR Cup Series competition, probably, arguably, Auto Club was the best race of the year. You have multi-grooves. You have so many good passing opportunities. You can race 6 wide at that track easily. And I'm truly going to miss that. And it's time, man. A lot of people are saying, well, why tear up a 2-mile track? Why tear up a good thing? Nothing good ever, ever, ever lasts. Everything must come to an end at some point, unfortunately. And in some cases, you have tracks like Indianapolis. You have Orange Show Speedway in San Bernardino. Indy's been around for 100-plus years. The Orange Show Speedway in San Bernardino, California, has been around for, this is our 76th season. We're very much looking forward to kicking that off on March 4th, 2023 with you guys. Michael Turner in the chat. Auto Club is February 26th. Unfortunately, I'm on the East Coast in Pennsylvania and only 40 minutes from Pocono. What do you think of Pocono, Michael? Sincerely, as somebody who lives in that area, do you enjoy the racing out there, or would you prefer if you had a Bristol or an Auto Club Speedway or a Charlotte Motor Speedway track instead planted right on the exact place that Pocono Raceway is? I'm willing to bet you would literally pick any of those other racetracks. I personally do not like Pocono. I understand what they were trying to do with the 3 different turns being inspired by 3 different racetracks. It just doesn't need to be 2.5 miles, man. Make it a mile. Make it a mile. Just it down, because it's this massive thing that doesn't need to be that massive. It takes you almost a minute to get around that place in a cup car. It's just too big. It's too much. It's too much. I don't need that in my life. It's like enough. Just give me a smaller track that's produces a little bit more action. And I have a thing about not loving flat racetracks in general. And as I say that, Auto Club Speedway, pretty flat track. Orange Show Speedway, very flat track. We only have 2 degrees of banking, 3 degrees of banking, if that. It's a very flat racetrack, but we put on great racing out there, and I'm excited for what will be, I want to say so we had 19, 20, 21, 22. This is my 5th season out at Orange Show Speedway in 2023. Wow. I enjoy, Michael Turner in the chat, I enjoy Pocono. I wish Pocono bring back the 500-miler races. What? No! I mean, you are entitled to your opinion, good sir, but I could not disagree more. I think that NASCAR needs to shorten races. I think we need shorter cup races. I think the only 500-mile races we should see in NASCAR, Daytona 500, Coke 600. Honestly, fight me on all others. Everything else needs to be 300 or 400 miles at most. Those are the only 2 that I will give you that need to be 500 miles or more. Daytona 500, Coca-Cola 600. The end. Period. Because there's no reason for Pocono to have a race that long. It is grueling for these drivers. And I understand you fans want to see a good race, but is a longer race a good race? It depends on the conditions. And honestly, if you go to a short track, well, let's use Auto Club Speedway as the example. You look at Auto Club Speedway, that race, pretty much every lap, you have guys using the high lane, then using the low lane next lap, and they're switching things up, and they're drafting, and there's really a lot of strategy behind that. Pocono, you have a little bit of that, but it's essentially a one-groove racetrack. I mean, fix that. Add some banking. Make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, hell, put some speed bumps down the back straightaway like Auto Club Speedway. By the way, I've run at Auto Club Speedway. Can convince you this is how it is going down that backstretch. You're just sitting there just like, oh, okay. Keep it straight. It's just so bad back there. The track needs to be repaved. And I'm excited to see, because what does a Martinsville-Bristol hybrid look like? Hopefully good. I mean, we really hope it's going to be good, but honestly, we won't really know. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I did want to give you guys kind of a preview of some of the races we're thinking or considering going to in 2023. If I could pull up my calendar here, give me a second. So the next race that we're potentially going to is round 3 for Monster Energy Supercross out at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, California. We're probably heading out to that one. Gotta wait and see how we do. We're also going to be heading to the LA Coliseum on Saturday, February 4th and Sunday, February 5th for the Los Angeles clash. I'm very excited for this one. It doesn't count for points. I know a lot of people are upset about this and hate this, but as somebody who lives in Los Angeles, as somebody who knows what it's like trying to get non-NASCAR fans to pay attention to motorsports in general, I've never, ever in 20 plus years of being a fan, never in Los Angeles had more people that know nothing about motorsports and NASCAR ask me, hey, can you get me tickets to this? And I cannot. For the record, I will shout this from the top of the hilltop. For the record, I cannot get you tickets to any race. I can show you. Go to NASCAR.com/tickets to get your tickets. But I myself do not have tickets. I can't even get tickets for myself. I have to get media credentials, and I have to do a lot of paperwork with respected race organizations to convince them, yes, I'm a real person with a real media outlet that is reporting on this story. I'm not sitting up there with the foam finger and the beers in my mug. Woo! Like, that ain't me. I'm not doing that. I would love to do that, but this is how I get to get into motorsports and report on motorsports to you guys and hopefully give you some cool insight to what's happening at the racetrack that other reporters either can't, won't, or don't tell you. That's my entire goal with this. And I legitimately want you to leave your questions in the comments there, or down there, wherever they are for you, however you're watching this on YouTube. Leave it in the comments. What questions do you want me to ask what drivers? I will ask them. I'm not even joking. You want to know if, I don't know, Chase Elliott prefers In-N-Out or Five Guys? I'll ask him. By the way, I'm split on this myself. I like In-N-Out. I grew up eating In-N-Out. I love it. And until I was an adult, I never had Five Guys because there was never a Five Guys in my state. Then they built them. And I like Five Guys. I like In-N-Out and I like Five Guys. I can like them both. I don't have to choose. Although, gun to my head, if you put two of them in front of me and I'm thinking lunch, where do I go? It's going to depend on how I feel in that moment, of course, but might go In-N-Out. Think I'm going In-N-Out. It's a little quicker. So it's a little bit quicker to get In-N-Out, even with the easier with the longer lines In-N-Out compared to Five Guys, because they're just quicker, man. It's essentially the same burger. They're just making over and over and over again. At Five Guys, it's like 10 bajillion things that they can make you. But, oh, that's a good burger. That's a messy burger. You need like 5 napkins on the shirt, and you need like all the napkins up your sleeve, and you got to roll up your sleeves and like get it. But like, that's a good burger, depending on how you like it. But it is typically a greasier burger. In-N-Out, you can one-hand it, like in the car, just one-hand it while driving in LA traffic, which is a thing I do often, daily as a matter of fact. Just one hand, you can do the fry action, a little bit of shake. The shake action at In-N-Out is pretty superior, though. I got to give them that. So, no disrespect to Five Guys, but I am an In-N-Out guy, I guess. And I know some of you don't like In-N-Out. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm looking forward to going to the In-N-Out drag strip in Pomona, California on my birthday, actually. Heading out there Friday, March 31st, Saturday, April 1st, and Sunday, April 2nd, my birthday, for the NHRA Pomona Nationals. I'm very excited for that one. That one's a whole lot of fun. Then again in April on April 16th, actually, Sunday, April 16th. IndyCar is in Long Beach for the Long Beach Grand Prix. Mwah, chef's kiss. That's a cool racetrack. I hate being in that city 99% of the time because in general, no disrespect against Long Beach or its people. Not saying that. I'm simply saying you are a tourist destination, and typically people, when they are driving and when they are in Long Beach, are playing tourist and not paying attention to how they're driving, and they're kind of all over the place. So no disrespect to you, Long Beach. I'm just saying that since you're a tourist destination, your tourists annoy me. Sorry, I bet they annoy you guys too. No offense. But yeah, it's an absolute nightmare to get in and out of that place because of the street course and everything being closed off and a bajillion people everywhere. But once you get there, it's a cool race. It's a cool event to be at, and that's the point of it. It's an event. We might be heading up to Northern California in June for the Sonoma Xfinity for the first time and Cup race. I'm excited for that, June 10th and 11th of this year. And then I kind of have a summer break. I'm doing stuff out at Orange Show Speedway all season long from March until November. But between June and October, I don't really have a whole lot of races on my schedule that I'm going to, unfortunately. If you guys want to go fund me some money, I'll go, but it's not in the budget, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, because in October, November, oh boy, pump the brakes, we're busy. We might be heading out to Vegas for the playoff race for the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series. We might be going to our first F1 race, baby's first F1 race, at the U.S. Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas out at Austin, Texas. I've never been to Texas. I've flown over Texas a bunch of times. I've never been to Texas. I've wanted to go. I'm finally going to go check out the Texas. I'm excited for that F1 race. I've heard phenomenal things. The energy is palpable. I want to experience that. I can't wait. Going to try to head out there. Then in November 2023, going to try to head out to Phoenix for the Truck Xfinity and NASCAR Cup Series Championship races out there. The very, very, very next weekend, I have NHRA out at the In-N-Out Drag Strip in Pomona. That one is literally like 8-ish miles, if that, from my house. So I will take that race commute. That's a not bad race commute for me. Then literally, and then like the day after NHRA, it's my anniversary. My wife's gonna kill me. And then the very next weekend. Yes, no joke. The very next weekend, we're going perhaps to the Las Vegas Grand Prix, the F1 race out at the Las Vegas Strip. Again, I'm going to be begging. I'm going to be pleading with F1 to help me get into this race because I don't think any of us could afford to go to it otherwise. And if I get a chance to go to the Las Vegas Grand Prix race, I am going to take so many videos, so many photos. I'm legitimately thinking about strapping a GoPro to my face, like my glasses, or just wear the head thing, and just live stream the whole darn time. Why not? I mean, I legitimately want to go to give you guys as much access as I am allowed to show you guys. And I was under restrictions over the weekend out at Supercross, so you're not going to see a whole lot of content, unfortunately, because I simply wasn't given permission from Supercross to do this, which is why I don't essentially have anything from Supercross. It's fine. I got a chance to go. I can tell you the stories and things that happened to me and everything that happened. I just prefer to show it to you because this is YouTube, not podcast tube. So I'm honestly hoping to do more with Supercross down the road. We're perhaps going to the final race out there as well, which, by the way, is another story in and of itself. Let's actually talk about that for a hot second. Supercross and Motocross announced coming into this season that they formed Super Motocross, which essentially is a combination of these two series, still keeping them separate so that each one has a championship to award at the end of the season, but they take the entire points, the top 20 riders from this series and that series, they put them all together for 3 championship races. Yes, I did a video on this already this week. Yeah, this week actually, talking about it, but it is honestly phenomenal because you have, I think, perhaps the best championship format in all of motorsports. It has the potential, at least. Time will tell if it actually is a phenomenal point standing situation, playoff situation, but it's only 3 rounds. I think that that's kind of the perfect gear because you know, it really is better, you know, to do it that way. Let me see if I can grab the news for you real quick. I'm looking for the information from this, but they made it official on Friday. I'm looking for it and I can't find it, Gearheads. My apologies, but the big story is that they announced that they're returning to the Chicagoland Speedway. But the thing that everybody kind of overlooks and or forgot about that announcement was the fact that, you know, it's awesome. Do not get me wrong. It is awesome that we're going back to Chicagoland for Supercross. Supercross is essentially going to take the infield, I guess the start finish line right there at the Speedway and turn it into a Supercross track, which is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Here's the footage. I couldn't find it, and I have found it, so I feel better now. So check this out, gearheads. This is the overhead shot. It looks great. Chicagoland Speedway, I think, is going to be phenomenal for this, but I'm going to point something out to you guys that is going to, I guess, shock, annoy, upset some people. This is an overhead of the track. Yes? Here is, yes, you can kind of sort of see, yes, you can see my mouse. Here's the start-finish line right here. This is obviously pit road right here. And normally Supercross just takes up this area between the front stretch and pit road right here. They're heading down into turn 1. I actually really dig this. Here's the thing that I'm going to point out that no one else has said. What's this right here, gearheads? Supercross riders will leave the racing surface, go over, not over the fence, through the wall. There's no wall there in this rendition. Maybe this isn't final. Maybe they're going to tweak this, but there's no wall there. There's a catch fence there. At least there was. There was a wall there. At least there was. And they're going to race on the outside of the track up here. I'm not sure what this building is. I'm pretty sure it's a Supercross temporary building, but I could be wrong. And then they're going to come race over the wall again and then come back onto the track and head back to the start-finish line area. 2 spots on the track itself where they're essentially going to remove the catch fence and remove the wall for Supercross. I have nothing against this. It's what's best for Supercross. However, this indicates to me that NASCAR is probably done with this vicinity. Just because they're letting somebody else come in and do whatever they want doesn't mean that they're done with it. I mean, that wall could be rebuilt, but NASCAR is putting their eggs in the Chicago Street Course circuit. And honestly, I think it's going to be a huge success, just like the LA Coliseum was a huge success. It was sincerely better than NASCAR expected, than the media expected, than I expected it to be. It was phenomenally good for NASCAR on all fronts. Literally, the only mistake that NASCAR told me that they wish that they would have changed, and they did for 2023, was not putting fans in the section from where the flame is to the racetrack. They closed that off for the stage and for the spotters to be at. And when they saw, frankly, the shots on TV with the whole sellout crowd everywhere, except for right there, it was a huge red flag to them. They knew we screwed up. That was literally their only mistake. And honestly, from somebody who experienced it, I can tell you it was great. Because the people who put on shows over there at the Coliseum were there directing people who knew where everything was. They were showing people what was what. They were extraordinarily knowledgeable. Probably the most knowledgeable staff at any facility I've ever been to, ever, sincerely. And then they, at the same time, they were telling people about the NASCAR stuff, all the cool stuff that could be done. They were trained up properly. You go to some sporting events, frankly, they wear the yellow shirts. Nothing wrong with these people. They are earning a living. They are doing a job, but they are hired by a third-party security company, and they are trained up with very, very, very little information about where the bathroom is, where this is, where that is this wristband okay, is this pass good for here, where's this seat, that sort of stuff. They're essentially just told there, stand there, don't let people come through. That's all they're told in most cases. And that's what I experienced a little bit with Supercross out at Angel Stadium. Not because Supercross prefers to do it this way. No. The Los Angeles Angels do it this way. They do not have their own staff. They have yellow shirt security vest companies, third-party security companies who come out and essentially check your tickets, check your bags, and do everything else. They're all just kind of there doing a paycheck. You know, it's an honest living. They're doing a job. God love them for doing a job that very few people want to do. But they're not enjoying it. They're not enjoying themselves. I'm always friendly with them because Lord knows you see the Karens and the Kevins going off on them. Ugh, how dare you not tell me that I can't bring a water bottle and my own food into this vicinity? I've only been on this earth for 60 plus years. I would never have known this had you had not told me. Ugh. Yeah, once the show gets later, I get a little crazier and crankier, and this monster kicking in, and I'm just like, woo! So, here we go, strap on in, gearheads. But, honestly, I'm worried about the ramifications of this, because it essentially means that they're going to tear down some of Chicagoland Speedway. I am thrilled for Chicagoland and for ZMAX Drag Strip. What's going to happen is round 1 is going to be at ZMAX Drag Strip. I can actually show you that one here in a second. Give me a second, gearheads, and let me find it and pull that one up for you. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here's that ZMAX Drag Strip. Oh, yeah. Supercross hasn't done this. I absolutely love this idea. I think it is phenomenally cool. I love this idea. I don't know why it took this long for Supercross to do this. Honestly, I know there's a dirt track right there. Yeah, that's fine, but my God, this is just a phenomenal idea because you literally have this arena that is unlike anything we've seen with Supercross, and it's going to provide, honestly, some phenomenal racing. I can't wait. But I'll go back to the point that I was making earlier. This is going to be round 1. It is going to be on September 9th. On September 23rd, and I'm telling you, if you've ever tweeted out, "Oh, save Chicagoland," get your ass to Chicagoland. If every seat in that place is not sold out, you guys are hypocrites. You guys failed. Because it bottom line boils down to the fact that if you want to save Chicagoland, which by all means, I'm kind of in your boat, I do want to see this racetrack live on in some form, somehow, within the NASCAR world. I don't know how, but in some way. But the fact that you had a large group of people saying, "Save Chicagoland," who never showed up to the races in the Chicagoland Speedway. If you live in the Chicago area, the Joliet, Illinois area more specifically, it's not in Chicago, you need to get your ass out to this race in September for Supercross. You need to sell this place out. You need to prove to NASCAR, to Supercross, to the owners of Chicagoland Speedway, which is NASCAR, that this place deserves to be on the NASCAR schedule, period. The end. It needs to happen. And the only way to do that is by actually going out there and selling that place out. If that place is not a sellout, then NASCAR has all the fuel they need right there to close this place down forever, period. And I hope that that's not the case, but that's something that's going to happen. I want y'all to go out there. Am I going to go out there? No. I live in Los Angeles. I'm not going to go all the way to Chicago for this. If Supercross wants to send me to this, I'll go to it. If you want to send me to this, send me the money. I'll go to it. But honestly, I don't think that this track will be saved. I think that this is literally NASCAR taking one last race for this speedway as one final hurrah, but I don't think we're ever going to see another Cup race or a NASCAR race, period, at this racetrack. Could it be sold to a local promoter that decides he wants to put on races at this facility himself? Yes, if he can afford it, but most can't at this point, and that is something that we need to seriously acknowledge. So I don't think so is the answer that I'm going to give you. I think Chicagoland, unfortunately, is done. I think this is our last hurrah with it. Honestly, that's honestly where I think we're at. I hate it, but that's something we all need to acknowledge and accept, honestly, at this point. And it's a darn shame, but that is what it is. So I hope it's something that we we can see change in the near future. But for now, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. But you can go ahead and check out all 3 rounds of the Super Motocross World Championship starting on September 9th. Race number 1 at ZMAX Drag Strip in Charlotte, North Carolina. Race number 2 on September 23rd at Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. Go NASCAR fans, go support your local track. And then the Super Motocross World Championship race at the LA Coliseum in Los Angeles, California on October 14th, 2023. And the thing that's really cool, only 3 races, no eliminations, but instead, race number 1 is worth X amount of points, 26 points. Race number 2, I want to say it is 56 points, double the points. And then race number 3, triple the points. Essentially, you go down in race 1, you can make it up in race 2 or race 3, or maybe you win race 1 and 2, but you have a bad third race. You need to be phenomenally good across all 3 races. Honestly, I said this in my video earlier this week on Shifting Gears number 149. Go check that one out, by the way, if you haven't already. I think, honestly, this has the potential to be the best motorsports playoff system ever. I know NASCAR fans go back to the playoff race of 04 that literally had 4 guys going into that final race with a legit shot to win it, and Kurt Busch wins it by a few spots on the racetrack. Like, huh? Or Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards tying in points at the end of the season, but Tony Stewart having 5 wins to Carl Edwards' 1 win being the tiebreaker. I think that this has the potential to be better. We'll have to see the scenarios, how they play out, what this looks like, but for 3 weeks, from September, or for 3 races, I should say, September 9th, September 23rd, and October 14th, you need to watch. I hate that it's not back to back to back. I wish it was congruent weeks. They're going to go on September 9th, take a week off, then go again on September 23rd, then take a week off, then go on October 14th. I kind of like that, and I hate that because it feels, like we're just taking our time. I don't want to wait another week. I want to go. I want to have the momentum, but that's how they're doing it this time. I hope they fix that for next year. But I like the fact that it's only 3 races, and I like the worth 1 championship race, double the points, triple the points. I think that is brilliant. I think that could potentially be phenomenal. We have to wait and see how that ultimately plays out. But I do want to go ahead and thank you guys so much for watching the live stream tonight. We've been on over an hour. I said we would go roughly an hour or so, depending on how things are going. The chat has died down a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and say goodnight here, but I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still watching this video when it's up on replay, because it's up instantly on youtube.com/HeyAlanBailey, and of course, AmericanRacingNetwork.com, ARNRace.com, as well in the near future here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until this point of the video. We're an hour 17-ish plus in. You can help support the channel for free by hitting the subscribe button, liking this video, and sharing it on your social medias. Truly, it helps the channel to grow. It doesn't cost you anything, and it literally means the world to me. So thank you so much if you guys do that for me. We also have a brand new second gaming channel that I do with my wife. It's called Alan Battles. It is on YouTube. I will put the link in the description below. You can also find me on social media at Hey Alan Bailey. And of course, log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com over there for the latest motorsports news, videos, highlights, and more. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you guys so much for watching on Sunday, January 8th, 2023. This is Shifting Gears Live, number 150. I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you out at the track. Bye, Gearheads.